Today, we're going to be talking to men that are still infants, babies in Christ, so to speak. I really kind of look at this as imagine being a farmer. Okay. I'm here in Ohio in the middle of cornfield, USA, and the farmers are out harvesting their crops. They planted their seeds. Now it's harvest time. The Bible talks a lot about planting seeds in our life and harvesting. This became a teaching moment today in my Bible study. I shared in my group, in the 318 men's group. This teaching moment is really imagine being that first time farmer. You're looking at your field, you planted your seeds, nothing's come up yet. You have no idea what to expect in the harvest. Let me ask you about your faith as a farmer, as somebody who's planting seeds. If you've never walked that path and you never have harvested or seen God work in your life, it's really taxing. It's really hard on your faith and your belief to believe in what God is promising you. I've walked this walk, but the Ascension of the Warrior in my book, one of the things is that's what we talk about is learning to hear God's voice and seeing God in your life in the past. So we can go forward and be just like that experienced farmer that plants his crops every springtime and every year he has a harvest. That this can be in your health and in your wealth or your relationships. We plant seeds in all three domains. We're going to get into that in this episode with what I was talking about. See you on the inside. Well, I had a dream last night, and it was a really extremely vivid dream. I was sitting in an office with my attorney. He's been a long friend of mine for over 3 decades. He's handled most of my, if not all my things I needed done. But we became friends through my daughter's accident in 1993. It's an accident that, I don't always talk about, but within this confine of this podcast, I do. Within the confines of our 318 men's group, I talk about it. Within the confines of, within talking one-on-one, because we have so many new men coming into our 318 Brotherhood that the path that I've walked, the pain, the fire of pain that I have walked over these 3 decades, I am meeting men every single day and talking to men every single day that we are more alike than we are different. This has been a very eye-opening experience. But one of the things I was talking with my wife about the other day was about a farmer because, we live in farm country USA, right in the middle of, I got farm fields all around us. A lot of them have corn and beans. Well, they're out harvesting. And I was talking hypothetically to my wife, and I have a tendency to do that a lot in my Bible study. Things become hypothetically, but God turns around and turns them into something real. I talked about that in my book when I spoke to my wife about a hypothetical question about $6,000. Would we give it away? We both said no, but God got the money. Not once, twice, maybe 3 times, but at least twice that I know of. And I've learned that my hypothetical questions have a tendency to come true in my life. So this became a dream that came out of a hypothetical question to my wife about being a first-time farmer. Because these farmers around here, some of them, one farmer down the road farms, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000 acres. I don't know. It's some ungodly amount of, the other day they have like 4 or 5 combines out just on 2 plots of field corn. And then they get all that done in a day, and now they're on to beans, and they got like 3 or 4 semi trucks, and they got they've got these huge silos where they store up the grain, and just a huge multi-million-dollar farming operation. But when you think about being a first-time farmer versus an experienced farmer, that farm down the road, they know when they plant their field and they plant their crops in the spring, they have a really good idea what the harvest is going to be, with a few exceptions that they can't control. They can't control the weather. So they have to trust. And they have to have belief that the weather will be good and they will have a bumper crop with high yields, and the prices at the market will make a profit for them. They trust in that because they've lived it in the past. They've seen it happen. But imagine being a first-time farmer. You've never really farmed your own farm. But now you've got, I don't know, 100, 300, 500 acres, whatever you're farming. But you put your life savings, you put a lot of time and a lot of your money into this operation. This could be your business. If you're a business person or wanting to start a business, this is the exact same principle here. If you're wanting to lose weight, get take care of your diabetes or fight cancer or whatever it is, this is the same principle. If you want your marriage and relationships restored, this is the same principle. What are the seeds you are sowing and planting into that domain of your health or your wealth or your relationships? God talks about a cheerful giver and sowing generously or sparingly. We've been talking about that all week within our 318 men's group because this has come out of this hypothetical question. God's been taking me down this each and every day. Well, like I said, last night I had a dream and it involved my turning. It involved a building that I don't own, but I'm familiar with it because I owned a business back in 1988 up through the early 2000s, and we were located in that building. I had an opportunity to buy that building at one point in time, but it was built back in the 1700s. It had a lot of problems, and I just didn't have the financial resources to put into the building and, do what I wanted to. So we went elsewhere. Probably was a knowing what I see going on downtown and the say that again, revitalization of all these old buildings that are over 150 years old. These guys are making money. They're printing money in these old buildings. That at the time, I couldn't see that harvest. I couldn't see the seed that I could have been planting. But that's not what this dream was. I don't think. I don't think. But he turned around. My attorney in the dream says to me, he says, I've got a client who wants to buy a piece of property of yours. And he's willing to make you an offer of $500,000. First of all, and he's telling me that it's downtown. It's, and he's telling me it's this building, the one I was in. I don't own that building. I don't own any building downtown. And, it's like, but he's showing me this. So my wife and I this morning, we spent a couple hours this morning talking about what in the world did this mean? So we thought, okay, we own this house. It's not worth 500,000, but it's close, 350 to 400,000. We're putting in a new kitchen, probably about $30,000 into a new kitchen. So from that standpoint, maybe do a little bit of work, clean up this, slap some paint, whatever. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Because something my wife and I said when we started this journey over 1,204 days ago, we started this journey. One of the things we said, if we would sell and give away everything that we have and we would follow Jesus wherever he told us to go. And one of the things was we said, would we sell our house? Yes, we would sell our house. And if that's the case, God will provide somebody to knock on the door and make us an offer. That's the way it was said. That was a hypothetical. Well, then I have this dream. So could this be what God is saying to me? Or could it be something else? What represents this 500,000? There's numbers that stay very, very consistent that God gives me. And a lot of numbers are 50s, are the number 50, the number 500, the number 25,000, because it all started with the story of the cross and everything seems to line up there. And it's like a code. So 500,000, I don't know. Is it to be, I have no idea what it means. But in my Bible study, it became very, very clear what God was really telling me. It's like I'm a first-time farmer. The 318 men in our group and our mission, we're still babies. I'm like that first-time farmer. I've planted the seeds. Brother, you're listening to this. You are a seed preparing to sprout. God has something for you. Each and every man that picks up my book, The Ascension of the Warrior, whether or not it's a download or you order the actual physical book, you can get it from me and just pay shipping. I'll give you the book for free. Or you can go to Amazon and pick it up there and pay, it's like 20 bucks. But, either way it goes, every time that's a seed. We do our daily call Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Every Thursday at 7 p.m. We have a Bible study at 1 o'clock on Mondays. And I have a webinar where I go over my builder program every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Each and every one of these is a seed I'm planting in the field. You are the seed, brother. God is doing something in you. My job is to fertilize that seed, to water that seed. Listen to this podcast, read the book, work with me. Get involved in the Builder program where we go steps 1, 2, and 3 over a 90-day process. You work with me in a small group and we do this and we bang it out. So you can begin to sprout and take wings or whatever God has for you. Because the harvest that you can't see, because you've prayed before and you've never seen God work in your life, you're like that first time farmer that has seeds planted, but you don't really believe. You don't have the faith like the farmer that has been there, has walked the walk, and seen God provide for him. I've seen God provide for me. I wrote about it in my book. I teach, this is what I teach. This is what I train on, what I train men on. That's what 318 men go through, the three fires, pain, to find their purpose and move to power, to be the one man to rise up because they walked the 8 steps of the ascension of the warrior. They've gone through pain all the way up through to step 8, which is the call. What's God calling you? I talk to men all the time that are in pain in many areas, that they're struggling and fighting everything from divorce to relationship with their children to business to finances to facing retirement, not having enough money, and the health challenges with diabetes and cancer and just overweight, obese, just you name it, the list goes on, brother. But I'm here to tell you that God's not done with you yet, and you've got more work to do, and He's got a plan for you. And that harvest is already there. It's inside you, waiting to be birthed. Just like the seed is planted in the ground, and you sit there and look at the field and you see nothing. You see nothing, but underneath the surface of that ground, that seed is splitting open. The little leaf or whatever begins to grow. And over a period of time, it breaks through the surface. That's what God's doing in your life right now. That's what He's doing in my life. The difference is I broke through the surface and I'm already sprouting. And I see what God's doing. I have planted seeds and I've had harvest in my life. So I plant more seeds and I get another harvest. So this is technically my 4th planting season, moving into my 5th planting season that God is working with me on. You, my brother, are probably in your 1st. Could be 2nd or 3rd, or maybe it's many more than me. But the thing about it is you've gotten lost. You've lost your sight. You don't see God in your life. It seems hard. The struggle is real. Every day. I get it. The grief, the loss, the pain, the physical pain, what you're dealing with, what's on the line, what you could lose. Brother, 318 is about taking back what was lost. Training up 318 men to train you up to go as far as you have to go to take back what was lost. I walk that with you. Each brother walks that with you. On our Monday calls, we got several brothers in there, a wealth of experience who's walked some seriously tough shit in their life, but they've seen the harvest, but they're still in the fight. Doesn't mean that the days are easy. That experienced farmer, his equipment still breaks down, still has to spend money. It's a day-to-day challenge to make sure he's prepared to harvest. The experienced farmer is not immune to problems. Brother, you and I are not immune to problems in this life, but we have to remain steadfast in our faith, in our belief. I want to be able to help you through that process. So, pick up my book, The Ascension of the Warrior. The link is in the bio. The link is in the description here and in the podcast, or reach out to me at rick@318men.com and ask me. I'll get you the link, or just go to Amazon. You'll find it. Search my name, Richard Kauffman, or turn around and look up The Ascension of the Warrior. You should be able to find it. But however the case is, pick up the book, join the Brotherhood, and trust me, God's planting seeds in you right now because He has a harvest for you. But you got to be expecting it. The only thing is we don't know when that harvest is going to be, but it's much sooner than you think. So you guys go out and have an awesome week. Win this day, win this Monday, win the week, win the battle each and every day to become 1% better today than you were yesterday. That's all we can ask for. This is your brother, Rick Kauffman, 318, brother. I love you. God loves you. We'll see you in the next episode.